All set? All right. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Conservation Commission Inland Wetlands meeting to order September 8th at 6:30. Roll call?
Craig Palmer.
Here.
Tom Murphy. Here. Edwin Dalton here. Joe Paletta.
Here.
George Tupance.
Here.
Luigi Cavallo. Pierre Moran. Charles Bellevaux. Scott Tierman. Ed Norton.
Public participation. Is anybody from the public wishing to speak? You can just come up to that microphone, ma'am, and it should be red. There's a button there to. Just make a note, Luigi Cavallo's here. Just state, Hi, just state your name and address, please, ma'am.
Brenda Tate, 24 Knowlton Street.
Okay. You're here for,
So I'm here in reference to pending application number 2, 114 Porter Street.
okay, you know what we can do if you want? We, when that application comes up, you can come back up and speak if you'd like.
Perfect.
All right?
Yes,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
Anybody else from the public wishing to speak on anything? Yes, ma'am.
Annie Byerly, 789 Guernsey Town Road. I am here to hear about the plan for the wetlands renovation for West Street.
Okay,
I'm very concerned.
all right. And then when that comes up, if you'd like to come back up and speak, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you.
For that application, we have a public hearing. Anybody who is here, you have the opportunity to talk about it. And that lady that talked about the other application, because we don't have a public hearing for that, they wanted to talk under public participation. But for the application for West Road and Guernsey Town Road intersection, there is a public hearing tonight. And anybody who is interested, you can talk about it.
The secretary, read the instructions for a public hearing, please.
Ground Rules Conservation Commission Inland Wetland Agency. The applicant or his representative will make his formal presentation to the commission stating the proposed regulated activities, the wetland impacts, and the alternatives which were considered by the applicant. Number 2, all comments, discussion, and observation shall be made through the chairman after proper recognition by the chairman. This is necessary to ensure that only one person at a time speaks on any issue, thus making it easier for everyone to understand and for clearer legal transcription. 3, all persons addressing the commission shall begin by first clearly stating their name and address for the record. If necessary, the person may be asked to spell his or her name for the record. 4, following presentation of the application, the Conservation Commission Inland Wetland Agency will ask specific questions of the applicant. 5, after the commission has asked its questions of the applicant, the chairman shall then allow any members of the public who wish to speak either in favor of the application or against it to address the commission. 6, the chairman shall then allow the applicant to respond to the comments of the members of the general public. 7, the chairman shall then allow any members of the general public who wish to present any additional information or clarifying discussion to do so. 8, the chairman shall then provide an opportunity for the applicant to respond to these additional remarks if he or his representative so wishes. 9, the Conservation Commission Inland Wetland Agency has 35 days from the date the public hearing commences to complete the public hearing. The commission may ask the applicant for a 35-day extension of the public hearing period if the commission requires any additional information or wishes to schedule a site walk to observe the situation for themselves. 10, the Conservation Commission Inland Wetland Agency has 35 days from the date that the public hearing is closed to render its decision.
Thank you. Application 2022-19 of the Town of Watertown Department of Public Works for the reconstruction of the intersection of Guernsey Town Road and West Road, Watertown, Connecticut.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commission members. For the record, Paul Benevich, Watertown Town Engineer, representing the applicant. Watertown Department of Public Works for the latest construction of a portion of reconstruction of a portion of Guernseytown Road from north of Eastwood Hall Road about two-thirds of a mile to the intersection of Crestview Drive. The main reason for this part of the reconstruction is the relocation of the West Road and Guernseytown Road intersection, which is, has very limited sight line and grading issues, especially in the wintertime. The intent of this project is to realign Guernseytown. Lauren, could I have sheet 1 up on the screen, please? Sorry. Okay. All right, well, I'll do it on the sheets here. Like I said, from about 300 feet north of Eastwood Hall, the road's going to be pushed westerly anywhere, well, it varies from obviously 0 to about 60 feet in the location of the existing drive to the maintenance shed for the Watertown Golf Club. There are 2 of the, actually 5 impacts. I missed one on the original application. There are 5 wetland impacts from this relocation. The first one is installation of a riprap apron at the outlet of a precast box culvert under the driveway to the golf course maintenance area. That's going to be here. This is 80 square feet of modified riprap, 4 cubic yards total in deposition. The second is installation of modified riprap apron at the outlet of an 18-inch reinforced concrete pipe end, which involves 10 square feet of wetlands and 1 cubic yard. There's twin existing drainage, one from the golf course driveway maintenance area to this water course that flows down alongside West Road. Those 2 are going to be replaced by 1 outlet here, the one I just spoke of, an 18-inch RCP. Let's see. The other impacts are on the next sheets.
Paul, can you turn that a little bit so maybe the public can see more of that than us? Yeah, because we got, yes, all right, thank you.
I'm sorry, there's one other impact, the one that I missed on the west side of Guernseytown Road here, where the road is being pushed into existing wetland areas flagged by Cynthia Rabinowitz back in 2017. We reflagged all of these wetlands for the field walk of 2 Saturdays ago. And I believe, Roseanne, you have the letter that I submitted from Cynthia saying she went out and agreed to the relocated locations that we staked. Right.
Yeah, the commission
Yes.
has that.
Okay, you
in the
have it,
packet,
right,
yes.
okay. Well, so that's that. Let's see. This area involves 800 square feet of wetland disturbance on this west side here where the blue area is, and filling of 30 cubic yards of wetland material, just earth material for the road reconstruction. Continuing on the next sheet, northerly, that area is just on the west edge here, or south edge here. The wetlands was flagged to the east of Guernseytown. This area is not going to be impacted by the roads, actually, as orange from yellow. I mean, the orange is the new relocated area. This, of course, would, this is meant to realign and regrade the intersection of West Road, so there's a landing there and sightline improvements up and down Guernseytown Road. The only other impact on this sheet is the relocated drainage that crosses Guernseytown here at west down to an existing swale riprap channel on the south side of West Road, adjacent to the golf course, 3rd tee. And that'll be, that has a, installation of a modified riprap apron for that 18-inch RCP, 25 square feet of wetland disturbance with 2 cubic yards of riprap. The other disturbance is northerly. About 350 feet south of the intersection of Guernseytown and Crestview, there's an existing cross culvert here that drains the upper portion of Wedgwood Road and Crestview down on behind these properties over here on the west of Guernseytown Road to an existing culvert. That impact is 700 square feet of wetland with 20 cubic yards of a preformed riprap scour hole to control velocity coming out of this pipe, which drains this whole, 5 or 6 or 8 acre subdivision to the west of Guernsey Town Road. There's also, because of the impacts or possible debris and other material coming from the subdivision from roads and that, there is a hydrodynamic separator going to be installed in Guernsey Town Road here for debris handling and control. The total upland review area impacted by this activity, 63,460 square feet, or 1.457 acres. This includes 45 linear feet of swale construction for the conveyance of a storm drainage from a new culvert at Station 7+30 Guernsey Town Road. That's on the first sheet. I had shown where there is a swale coming from the Eastwood Hall subdivision flowing under Guernsey Town, north of where the new crossing is going to be. That's the one that I showed the wetland disturbance for the road relocation. The closest, the road will be installed down on West Road within 10 feet. It's going to be slightly actually moved away from the wetlands also. In general, most of the road is being moved away from the existing wetland corridor, other than the culvert crossings that we're updating. I didn't submit this, but there's a drainage calculation memorandum from Lauren Coles of Weston and Sampson, the original design engineers on this project, from September 10th, 2018. She talks about the riprap installation and the scour holes to minimize any possibility of erosion from the velocity of the water, the stormwater conveyance. I think I should submit this just for record. That's about what I have. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to, Roseanne, I have the cards for the notices we sent out for certified mail receipts.
Paul, is this been engineered? Is this the finalized plans?
Yes, these are the final plans
That's what's going to
as
be
they're going to
done
go out to bid, yeah. Right,
off these maps here?
right, correct, yeah.
Any questions from the commission? We did a site walk out there. Anybody from the public wishing to speak on this application, just come up to this microphone, please.
Ray Casitas, 210 West Road. It's very difficult to see. First off, the letters that you sent out certified, who did those go to? Residents?
A budding property owner.
Yeah, I didn't get one. And my house is probably the one that's affected the most out of this. Right in the corner of West Road in Guernseytown. 210 West Road. It's very difficult to see from a drawing from 40 feet away, but I have two questions. One of them has to do with the area by the, we'll call it by the third tee of the golf club, that RCP that runs out to nothing. What's the plan with that? You spoke about that, but I can't see the drawing from that far away.
That's on the top left corner. If you're going,
If you're going up to Guernseytown on the left-hand side, there's a.
We saw it
there's a
there,
big
yeah.
tree right there. Yeah.
there's a tree right there in front of that.
There's a tree, but the pipe drains to nothing. It just flows out alongside
Right.
the golf course. So what's the plan there? Is that
Well,
riprap,
that's-
or are you gonna pipe that down farther?
That's going to be piped and riprap down
How far
alongside the
down?
road. About 100 feet.
So it'll go down a couple
Still-
houses past mine then?
Right, correct.
Which would be the second tee from, well, you guys wouldn't know
Right.
that, but, and the other question is, going up on the right-hand side, there's an existing swale that's in there, that comes from, I'm gonna say probably 75 to 100 feet up Guernseytown and comes down in the west. What's the plan in that area?
If I understand, you're talking, we're in relation to the
Ray, can you
maintenance.
show them on the map if you point to the map?
Yeah, that's the one.
You're, so you're the last house on the right, Ray, before the, that one.
That is his?
Well, you're above me, and the other problem you have is there's a 10 or 12 inch RCP that goes across my driveway. That's full, doesn't do anything. That's not mine, that's the town's. It's about 4 feet in on my driveway on the apron, and it's packed full of stuff. That's what I'm asking, it's not on the drawing.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Once you ask your questions, then you can sit and then
Right.
the
Oh,
engineer.
okay,
because
well, it was.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep the minutes clear when there is a discussion there.
Right.
Yes.
All right.
You ask your questions and please have a seat and then.
I will, sir,
Mr. Bennett.
when my question is answered, it hasn't been answered. That's what my problem is, that's why we're showing it on the drawing. If it was up here, I could show you.
Okay, did you ask your questions?
I did.
Okay, now, Mr. Benovich, you can talk about it.
I don't have a record of that 10-inch culvert that, I'm sorry, I forgot the gentleman's name.
Right.
The only thing on the plans is this 18-inch, or, well, I think the existing is a 15, I'm not 100%.
It might be bigger than that. I might have misquoted. It's sticking off a couple inches. It might be bigger. I don't know.
All right, well, the only thing I know of on the plans that we're replacing is the drainage that drains from the west side of Guernsey Town into West Road and down to this swale alongside the golf tee. So if there's another pipe there, because this whole road from Guernsey Town about, it's another like 300 feet east of this on another sheet, but it's not really, nothing impacts other than the 100-foot upland review area. So about, let's say 500 or 600 feet of West Road is going to be totally replaced. So if there's a cross culvert under his raised driveway, it's going to be replaced or dealt with. I don't have the exact plans on this, but there's, like 80 sheets of this plan. I just want the
Right.
pertinent ones for the road.
Maybe it's possible you should go out there and meet with them to see this.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So. I don't know if there's anyone else want.
Anybody else in the public on this? Oops, there's a, oops.
I do have a question. My name's Bob Reiner on 515 Guernsey Town Road. If you're on West Road and you hang a right, I'm approximately the first house on the left. There is a very large oak tree at the bottom of my driveway. I believe it's in the town right away. When West Road is moved a little bit, when Guernsey Town's moved a little west, that tree's going to come more into play as cars are now going to be heading a little bit to the right, coming down Guernsey Town, they'll be heading a little bit to the right. That tree's been hit a couple of times already. I'm worried that when Guernsey Town Road is moved, that tree is going to be more in play. I think that tree, I believe this is my property.
I know. Right. No, sir, remember, this is basically on the wetlands. What you can do if you have an issue, they have a public works subcommittee you can go to. Yeah, they have a subcommittee. Paul could tell you that they go into. Thank you. Anybody else on Guernsey?
I'm Antonio Portolino. I live on 170 West Road. So it's the third house before this intersection, before West Road and Guernsey Town. And I guess what I'm concerned about is the drainage, because right now there's insufficient drainage on West Road. All the drainage is on the south side of West Road, and there's nothing on the right-hand side or on the north side of West Road. So I'm concerned that once you start changing the road and making it straighter and adding more water to this culvert, every time this culvert backs up, it overflows, it comes down our driveways. And my house is I mean, I have video of
Right,
heavy rains coming, water just gushing out my driveway.
right.
Sir, can you please use the microphone because
yeah.
we have to do the minutes for the
Not a problem.
meeting?
I'm not sure where it starts straightening, I'm not sure where on the map my house is relative to that, but, can I step up and look at that, or? Right, and that's where all the water comes from, so every time when this culvert starts getting backed up and filled
Right.
up, it always overspills, and instead of staying on the south side of West Road and crosses over to the north side, and it all washes down, my property's below West Road, and it comes down to my driveway, and washes everything out.
Right. Sir, maybe with the same thing, you might want to go to the Public Works, this is just the wet.
I mean, I
Okay.
read it several times.
All right.
It's been on record, and there was, before when Roy was over there, he said that they were gonna put, I can't even,
Just if you could use the microphone.
he said that they were gonna do an apron on the side,
Yeah.
this way that. Well, the whole asphalt thing, I don't know what it's called, but a whole asphalt lip, they were supposed to do that. They came out and they measured it, and it never came to fruition. That never happened. I mean, this is years ago. and-
I would just make sure, sir, you go to that Public Works Subcommittee, because that's where that part of it's discussed.
Right, but,
You know, just so, and just,
I mean, I'm still concerned if you're gonna be
Right.
dumping more water in that culvert
Right,
now
no.
from changing some of the things.
Right.
You know, we're downstream from that,
Right.
right? And if nothing's gonna be fixed to address that. I mean, it's,
I think
you know,
it's
it's
noted
our
on
property that gets washed out, right? That's the hard part.
well, hopefully, in the design of it, they're,
And believe me, the weather isn't getting any better. It seems
No.
like it's just getting
Right.
worse, and the storms are getting worse,
Right.
and it's continuously. So what did you say, Monday nights is the? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, can I say something?
just,
In case if they go to the Public Works Subcommittee and they propose changes to this plan, if there will be differences and impact on the wetlands, that will be a part of your application.
right.
Uh,
So let's leave it open then?
We're gonna leave this open.
Yes. Because if this is the final plan, you can make a decision based on this plan. But if Paul has to
Right.
make changes
No.
to the plan,
Right,
then you have to continue the public hearing until
Right.
they bring you the final version of the
Right.
plan that
I
you
mean,
want to approve.
obviously,
Yes.
there's concern here, so we gotta leave the hearing, if they gotta change the plans, leave the hearing open, it's gotta be done right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, thanks.
Anybody else on the Guernsey Town Road?
Hi, Joe Lurs, 591 Guernsey Town Road. I had right where he's putting that garbage separator, if you could go to that page and explain to me what you're gonna do there. My property's right to the left of that.
On the west,
See in blue there? Where that,
well, that's the east side.
yeah, it's gonna be, so I'm right here. So this must be my property right here. Same names of the residents?
I don't think the names are on there.
No,
There's no names, there should be.
not on ours.
We gotta get the maps up on that thing. Right, we gotta get the map.
Roseanne, can she hear the meeting?
Because that's
Can she
that's
record
where
it?
it floods. Oh, so that's going way up, because right now is where it floods, right in front of my property from Ledgewood.
Yeah,
That-
there's a, you know,
Is any of that getting reconstructed from Ledgewood down? Because right now I'm losing so many trees and the erosions, I don't know what, is there gonna be any issues there?
The only thing we're proposing on this is to pick this up at the head wall. This, yeah, that water course comes from Wedgewood.
But none of that's gonna get reconstructed, right?
No, just within the right of way.
Because I get basketballs, diapers, you name it, I get it down there. I'm always clean. You guys rip-wrapped it about 4 times already, and there's not one piece of rip-wrap left. It's all washed away. So, I don't know, is there anything you guys can do there in the meantime while you're there? I mean, that's a serious issue right there. The whole road, my whole yard floods, because that's,
The highway's been doing rip-wrapping in the past. I think it's still
they did it 3 or 4 times this year, and there's, like I said, that storm we had a couple days ago, there's not a piece of rip-wrap left.
The same thing, sir, if you want to go to that Public Works Subcommittee, because
Oh, this is nothing to do with wetlands here?
it is, but when you start talking about the drainage and changing that,
Okay, and when's that, Monday night?
right. And if you did have pictures of it flooding, I'd bring them to that
Okay.
meeting, if somebody has pictures that concerned here.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Paul, I don't know if it was clear, but this reconstruction looks like you're actually reducing the amount of impervious surface area. Is that correct?
The proposed roadway width is
Your
20.
microphone is off,
Oh.
George.
Sorry.
The proposed roadway width is 28 feet, which is less than the previously, although we have changed it at times, 30-foot right-of-way or paved
Right.
roadway.
So
So,
you're going to have a net smaller impervious surface area? when this
Should,
is-
I believe so. I don't know if the whole road is 30 feet as exists.
Oh,
It
okay.
has been reconstructed in the past. It should have been, I
I-
believe, 30. I didn't measure it, so
I just thought it was a point that maybe you should clarify when you're talking about drainage, because you're really not going to be increasing drainage flow in different areas. You're going to be
Right.
making some corrections, tidying up some areas, and actually
right, I can get an
reducing.
answer. Yeah, I don't have that answer right now. So.
Thank you. Anybody else from the,
When Paul presented his presentation tonight, he stated that all the residents that were notified, that were affected, well, my neighbor that lives 3 houses down from me was notified, and I wasn't. I would ask the commission just to table this whole thing, because it seems to me that there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and they're not right. So I'd ask that. I would like the opportunity to review this myself.
Right.
And see this, because you know where my house is. It's right in the middle of this. And
Right.
I'm the one that's gonna be pumping my, well, you are when I call the fire department
Right,
to
yeah.
pump my basement out.
thank you. Anybody else in the public on this application? Yes, ma'am.
Annie Byerly, 789 Guernsey Town Road. I am just concerned with the amount of construction and renovation and how that is going to affect the beautiful foliage and trees on Guernsey Town, which is important to me as I drive home. So, what's coming down?
Paul, you don't have a number of trees or anything, but
No, I don't.
is that something we can get for next?
I can get an, yeah, I can
Right.
get an estimate for next, or a survey for next time, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the public on this application? Anything else from the commission on this? I think we should make a motion to keep this public hearing open.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can I say something
Yes.
for you? I think it is for the public information that we are dealing with a very limited area for this project. This is not like a subdivision that we have acres of land that we can move things around. They have to work within that town right-of-way that they have, whatever it is. I mean, it is very difficult. The only thing that everybody's agreed that that intersection is a very unsafe intersection. Any improvement to that will be a benefit to the public. I just want everybody to keep in mind that
the town doesn't have enough land on both sides of the roads to change a lot. They have to stay within that town right-of-way, and it's a very limited area that they have to work with. I just want you to keep in mind, this is not like a new development that we can move around things and change the location of the houses from one location to another. They have to stay within that town right-of-way, unless some of you people give an easement to the town to go on your property.
They did, there were a
and do
number
it.
of
Yes.
takings, but
Yes.
the main, movement is the West Road intersection,
Yes.
like 60 feet west. A lot of the remaining road is just going to be replaced in kind, in place. So.
Oh, Paul, this hasn't gone to bid or anything yet, so another 30 days isn't holding up anything on the town then?
Well, at this time of year, probably not,
No.
so.
I have one question. I'm going to make a motion to keep the table. We basically keep it open now. It's saying it has to be closed by October 13th. I just looked at my calendar. Our next meeting is October 13th.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's still okay? We don't have to
Yes.
get an extension?
No,
Okay.
not at this time.
I make a motion to keep the public hearing application number 2022-19 open until the next meeting.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any question on the motion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed, any abstained? Motion carries. Thank you. Regular meeting, action on minutes, regular meeting of June 9th, 2022, and regular meeting August 11th, 2022. Does everybody receive the minutes?
Yes.
Reviewed them. Any questions or hers?
No, when you get to. No, we didn't get to that application. Okay. Yes.
Make a motion on the minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any questions? All in favor? All opposed, any abstention? Motion carries. Thank you. Pending application 2022-19 of the Town of Watertown Department of Public Works for the reconstruction of the intersection of Guernsey Town Road and West Road, Watertown.
Make a motion to table application 2022-19.
Second. Motion made and second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. Two, application 2022-20 of John Mandela for the clearing of vegetation from a regulated area at 114 Porter Street, Watertown, Connecticut.
My name is John Mandela, owner of 114 Porter Street, Watertown. I'm proposing to cut down and remove some of the bamboo in the 100-foot restriction area, just so I can maintain it as a lawn area. About 40 feet of it from the 100-foot back towards the, towards the river, Steel Brook. You guys did a walkthrough last Saturday, and I explained it all, and I gave a highlighted map on where I plan to plant grass in that section, just so I can maintain it and keep it nice, neat appearance down in that section.
Were you gonna do some type of map?
Yes, I see.
Oh, this one,
Yeah.
okay. And a description, were you gonna write a description of what was gonna be done, or no?
Yes, I wrote that right on the map. So the green highlighted area is a proposed area to plant the lawn. And then the highlighted pink area, there's a abundance of wood chips that are on the property. And it was suggested by someone from the commission that we could do like an 8-foot wide swale of wood chips in the highlighted pink area, about 8 inches thick, just on the border of the grass and the wood line, just to keep it as a neat appearance there.
A swale you are digging is?
No, just not even a berm, just like 8 inches thick, 8-foot wide path of wood chips in the highlighted purple, pink area.
Yeah, not a berm of earth.
No, no
Not making
berm.
a
Yeah.
dike or anything.
No, no, no.
And the green area is the lawn, correct?
Where we propose to plant the lawn. Back there now, it's just, you know, for the guys that were out there seeing it, it's just a jungle. I just want to kind of keep it clean, keep it clean so I could cut it and just maintain it as a lawn area.
Now, the orange line is what, the 100-foot?
The 100-foot, correct.
Paul, where's the floodplain on that map, Paul, do you know?
Mr. Chairman, I give you a map that shows the floodplain. There is two of them, one black and white, and the other one is a colored one. And if you look, the blue area is A flood zone, and this pinkish area is B flood zone.
The pinkish areas, correct?
Yes,
With the dots?
this is like shaded pink.
I got you. Is there an issue with one of the sheds being in the floodplain area?
That is existing. It
existing,
is
so
grandfather,
yeah.
yes.
No more should go in there, though,
If
correct?
they want to remove it, that will be a good improvement, but if they want to keep it, it is grandfather, it's already there.
In the future, they'd have to come back if they wanted to put more in there?
If in future they want to add anything there, they have to come back to the commission and apply for a permit.
Makes sense.
And the only comment that I have is I'm not in favor of that wood chip area, because in case if that area gets flooded, all that wood chip will be washed out into Steel Brook.
That wood chip area is approximately 50 feet from Steel Brook still.
Doesn't matter, but it is only a few feet from the wetlands, and that will be washed out into the wetlands. We don't want wood chips in the wetlands.
So what do you want there, just
Just-
wildflowers or?
Just whatever the vegetation is
Yeah.
there, just leave it.
I mean, there's piles of wood chips there that have been there, so, I mean, do I leave those there? I'm just
Actually,
trying
that will be a condition of approval to remove all the stockpiles because that area is prone to
floodplain.
flooding.
Yeah,
Yes, the area, the green area is fine. The commission already walked the property.
Yeah.
I'm not agree with using the wood chip. I think the pile of wood chip should be removed from that area. That is my recommendation to the commission, but it's up to the commission.
even though that was there, so that's not grandfathered in?
Uh,
I'm just trying to
This is-
clean up the place and.
That
just,
will
yeah.
be your mitigation plan. I mean,
Yeah.
you are asking for some activities within a regulated area.
Yeah.
The commission allow you to do that, and then they ask you that please remove the stockpile from the flooding area. That's like a mitigation.
All right, well, that
It's
might
like
take some
give
time
and
because
take.
that's probably about 60 triaxles of wood chips in that area. So that's going to take a little time.
I leave it to
remove
the
that.
commission. That's my recommendation.
Yeah.
It's up to the commission.
And you weren't doing anything else in this,
No
That saw-
building, no
that saw-
parking, nothing, just
is
nothing.
that sawmill in there too, or no?
Say that again?
This,
No, that guy's
yeah,
going
you're
out
gonna
of
clean
there.
that up? That-
Yeah, that little tent that was there, it's not even on the map, that, he's out of there with that.
If there's anything that could be done to stabilize the chips so they don't move, except.
How you can stabilize with wood chip?
Well, I'm just saying if there's anything you could.
No.
Put nothing.
I think if they leave that area alone, the green area, they can remove whatever is there, put the grass, whatever they want to do. That 40 feet that Mr. Mandela is talking about, just leave it alone. Even if there is, whatever existing there, just leave
Right.
it.
When there was a pile of stumps and that stuff you're gonna get rid of?
Yeah, actually, I already got the dumpster there, came in this
Right.
week to get rid of all those stumps. So right where that pile of stumps was, there was all the other wood chips that got all growth growing out of it. Remember I mentioned that been there for who knows how long? It's basically almost like dirt at this point. It's been there for so long. And I asked, you guys want me to clean that up and you
No,
know,
remove it. I mean, any pile that is there, you
Yeah.
can remove them.
okay.
But I
But
mean,
don't
But I
use
can't
wood
remove
chip.
them and spread them.
No, not in that area. You can do it all over your property if you want, but not in that area. That's a very close, it is very close to Steel Brook and also next to the wetlands. If there is any flooding, that wood chips will end up into the wetlands in Steel Brook, and we don't want that to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying those wood chips been there for probably 30 years. It's
If you
dirt
want to
now
leave
at
it,
this
it's
point.
up to the commission how
That,
they
you
want
know,
to do it.
that was a pile behind the big
Right.
hoop house.
I mean, if some of it's already turned into dirt,
There's growth on it and all.
no, but I mean, if it's
Yeah.
into a soil, maybe you could put that in that greener.
Just spread that out,
But
spread that
not the
out.
chips. I
Yeah.
mean, if it's already turned into whatever it turns into. I think there was a neighbor that wanted to speak, ma'am, correct? Can you come up to the microphone? Thank you.
Brenda Tate, 24 Knowlton Street. The map you're looking at, I don't know when it was made, but that's not what it looks like now. This man has removed everything that you see here. The only thing that's here is road. And whatever road is made out of. Tar. He's made 3 roads through here. One that goes up through here completely, one that goes down here all the way to this sewer access road, and another one going behind or near this hoop house. So he's devastated everything. There's no trees, nothing. He's made an access road, or his own road, I guess, into the access road, and is driving triaxle dump trucks up and down my road. My road is a dead end.
Right. You said you live on Knowlton
So
Street,
I
right?
used to live and own 32. I live in 24. And I know where my pipe is in the woods. And this property line is not correct. This property line does not touch the bottom of this tarred road. So I don't know what the standards are or who determines what's where, but he's traveling on a dead-end road, and I value my privacy
All right.
and the quietness that I've lived with for 60 years.
That part might be a planning and zoning issue. I don't know what
I'm
the-
sure it is,
I don't know
but
what the-
it leads into my concerns
Okay.
with his deforesting or
Right.
removing everything else between him and the river.
And this
So-
was done after the property was sold.
Yes, oh, yes. So, I've had to take quite a journey to get here, and I'm not sure really how to present myself here or discuss my concerns. But this is the end of my road. Sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So this is the end of my road, and he has made a tarred road over here that comes into this sewer easement, and he drives these triaxle dump trucks through the easement between the 2 signs that are no trespassing signs, dead end, and up and down my road.
Right, that's definitely.
What he wants to clear out is all the rest of these, which is horrible bamboo that just grows and grows. But anyway, I'm concerned of flooding. I've lived there for 60 years. I know what the floods look like. I know how high they get. And if all of this is wiped out, as well as everything else that's wiped out, that puts my property in danger. I could show you, I don't know, but this is what it looks like now. It's all a road with that tar, that fake tar you put down. So I don't know if that's what you thought this was going to look like, or it doesn't matter, but there's nothing left.
Right,
And I don't think he's going to plant grass. I think he's going to put more tar.
right.
And then that's an even worse problem
Right.
when the water rises. And if this is protected area, I'd like it to remain so. Whatever we can do to
Right, I
keep
think-
it in its natural
Right.
state.
I think we can have the Musa can come over and, yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, there was a complaint actually from the neighborhood to the town manager's office that Mr. Mandela is using Knowlton Street for
Yes, sir.
getting in and out of the property with large trucks.
Yes, what I did was, when we're putting, it's millings that we put down, and we only put the millings where there's already dirt roads that were in there when Bill owned the property.
No,
I
they
didn't-
weren't.
Well, you
I
get,
didn't
Just one
cut-
second.
1 second, they gotta.
I didn't cut any trees within that 100-foot restricted area except one dead tree. And if it fell on somebody or fell across the river, it would have been more trouble than anything. And I believe Moose has seen it when we first looked at the property. All the trees I cut down were within the 100-foot area closer to the building. What I did was, as far as planting the grass, I want to plant the grass. I don't like people assuming that I'm not going to plant the grass and make more tar there. All I did was made an access road to Knowlton Street, and we did, and I apologize if I upsetted you, we came down Knowlton Street with the triaxles of the millings, because Mr. Hosking was putting his garage in, and I know it's no excuse, but he was putting the garage in, and partial of the roadway was covered. My main entrance was covered, so we came that way as an easier access to come in. I'm not using that access as a normal access. I didn't think I needed permission to drive on my property.
But did you, I talked to
And
you,
then when
I
you
called
talked
you,
to me,
yes.
so I
Did you
called-
talk to the Public Works Department?
Yes, I called
Ken?
Public Works, and they didn't think there was a problem on me going onto my property through Knowlton Street. They said you might need a permit for a curb cut at Knowlton Street.
Did you get that
Okay.
permit?
So I spoke to the lady in Public Works, and she said that someone's gonna get a hold of me about doing the permit, but might already be a cut curb issue going on because the fire district already uses that and cuts through my property to do their services on those sewer lines or whatever the case is.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say that this is not a wetland issue because I'm in the middle of these things and the town manager's office asked me to. And I want to know that because the town engineer is here and the property owner is here, they went to Knowlton Street. Do they need a permit from your department?
Mr. Mandillo's property does butt up against the right-of-way
Yeah.
on Knowlton Street, not the pavement. There's a gap,
Yeah.
a grass gap between his property line and the actual pavement on Knowlton. He has the right to get in if he damages the right-of-way other than the pavement. From my standpoint, he needs to repair it, resod it. But he does have access. As far as getting a curb cut, it's kind of a.
Because I told the town manager's office that this is a public works department issue. He's working within the town right-of-way.
Right, yeah.
I think if you can just find a way to resolve that issue and let the town manager's office know,
Yeah.
because they want me to get involved, and it's not a wetland issue.
Right. But
That
it's-
issue is not for the commission. Yes, it is for Paul, and you can talk to them in the.
And also,
But if he's
Go
done
ahead.
work in the wetlands area, it's a wetlands issue. If what the neighbor's saying about the roads and all that, that's a wetland issue. Or you're in
You
the
guys were out
100-foot
there, you-
floodplain,
Yes.
it's an issue.
It is, yeah, it is,
So I think we gotta do a little more investigating.
and that wasn't a part of
you
your
guys were
plan.
out there, it's within the 100-foot restriction, it's not, I'm on the opposite side of the 100-foot restriction. And my property goes through Knowlton, and it goes into a pie shape onto the other side of Knowlton.
It doesn't go through.
Knowlton Street is outside of the regulated area. It's not within the
Well, the
100-foot
deed, when I
setback
bought the
area.
property, it shows the map from the town, it goes through Knowlton into a pie shape onto the other side, which is just woods in that area there.
No.
And I chipped up
These
all,
maps aren't correct.
No,
You
they're
can't go
not.
by these.
No, they're not.
You have to go by surveyed maps.
Yeah.
These
surveyed
are
map, I got the
correct.
surveyed map from Scott Myers
Right,
that
that's
you guys have, and I could bring you down more copies if you want. It was all
These
surveyed.
are done by a satellite from the air.
Yeah, I got the surveyed map from Scott Myers Associates.
Right.
And then also, I got rid of all the debris. There was a 20-foot pile, 20-foot high, 30-foot wide, 100-foot long of all kinds of garbage, wood chips, or not wood chips, tree branches, stumps and all, and I cleaned that all out with nothing but a cesspool for all crazy animals. So if anything, the neighbors should be thanking me for making the place looking nicer. And I apologize once again for driving the triaxle down there. I don't plan on using Knowlton Street as an access at all. It was just during the construction of putting the millings down.
No, I need you to stop using it now if it's within my right as,
So I can't
Or-
drive on my
or-
property?
no, you could drive on
You know,
your
let's,
property all you
the
want.
discussion goes through the chair, and that's a zoning, like,
Yeah.
so what you have to do is you have to go to zoning and find out the zoning
Right.
part of it, okay?
Okay.
If there's a wetlands issue, that's brought here, but
Yep.
a zoning issue,
Yep,
so same thing, on the 12th, go to the Public Works Subcommittee, start there, and then go to zoning meeting and find out. I don't know what does it, I don't get involved in the zoning part. We don't get involved in the zoning part. Want to speak, sir? You gotta come up to the microphone, please. Thank you.
Wayne Tate from 24 Knowlton Street. I'm aware of all the work that he's been doing down there. I used to work for an environmental company. I used to run one, actually. And all the millings that he's putting down, along with all the trees and everything that have been totally taken out of there, is definitely going to impact the wetlands over there. And if he takes and just puts grass there, it's going to wash out twice as fast, and you're going to have all the millings. He's got a giant pile of millings out back there. And all that's going to just wash right down and into the river and end up down by Siemens. You know, it's basically cleared out now. So that's definitely going to, just that alone, what he's done already is going to impact the wetlands area. It's and what they were talking about the access to, and I know that has nothing to do with wetlands, but where he built, it's, you know, it's, he's using millings, which is pavement. I mean, it packs down into pavement, and it comes right up and butts up against the storm drain that you have down there. And he's driving dump trucks over that. And not only that, but what about, you know, if he's driving up and down Knowlton Street and, you know, breaks a water line or a gas line or whatever, that's gonna come down on us. But regardless of that, just clearing all the foliage and the trees, I mean, he's totally taken out, and that's your prerogative, it's your property, but I'm saying, that's definitely gonna impact the wetlands area.
Right.
Any oil spills or anything like that is just gonna wash right through there. Not only that, but there's oils in that come off of the millings. There's a big pile of millings down there, and he plans on, I'm sure, making a bigger area. And like I said, you take down all that, all the woods, bamboo, I don't care what it is, you're gonna impact that, the river worse, and it's gonna flood out twice as bad. And you know what you said about the wood chips, exactly, that'll just end up in the river and further down too. But my concern is there's nothing left there.
Right.
I mean, it's basically, you'd call it deforestation there.
Right.
It used to be, you know, even a buffer between them and the property, 32 Knowlton Street. There's nothing now.
Right.
There's monitoring wells and whatever, and the thing that he said isn't a road, it is a road. There's processed underneath it with millings, that's a road.
Right, that's, like I said, the zoning or the public works
Right.
department, that's where you
But
gotta.
I'm saying
Right,
that
no,
impacts the wetlands area.
Right,
I used to fish down there, there's a lot of fish in that river, and, you know,
Right.
all that's gonna
Yeah.
be impacted by being washed out,
right,
you know.
thank you.
Like I said before, I don't like being assumed that what I'm gonna do and what I'm not gonna do. In that 100-foot area, I cut one single dead tree. If that fell on something or somebody, it would be bigger issues than preserving the wetland issues, okay? Any trees I cut down were within my right, they were on my property. And I didn't clear out all the way to 32 Knowlton Street. There's a whole buffer, 15-foot of half-dead hemlocks that I would love to take out, which I'm not, because I want to keep that half-a-screen buffer, okay? They're saying that it's cleared out and it's all looks naked. It was a junkyard before. It looked like garbage, and everyone knows that, and I cleaned it up, make it look nice. I don't know what to say. I didn't know I needed permission from all the neighbors to improve my own property. And as far as driving trucks down Knowlton Street and breaking the gas lines, and well, guess what? I guess we got that problem all over the world because that's a public road and you can't drive trucks down public roads. And I didn't put millings all the way over to the storm drain and drive over the storm drain. If you guys want to take a ride up, it's a minute up the road. You guys been there, you've seen what it was.
I think that's what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna come back and visit again and see if there's something we missed or not, leave this part.
You've seen the stakes, guys, you've seen the stakes, I mean, you had me flag this out, do the wetlands and all that, I'm into for almost $2,000 just to cut bamboo to make it look good, and now it's an issue, I just don't get it, I really don't.
Well, I think we gotta hear both sides, and I think we're
Well,
gonna.
I
take-
get it,
We're
but
gonna take.
then again, that's not a wetlands issue because I didn't do nothing within that 100 foot. That's why I'm here, to plant grass in the 100 foot. There's no trees there. You guys seen it, it's all bamboo. There's no trees there. There's all the trees near the river, all that stuff is staying.
Mr. Chairman, why do you want to go out again? I mean, we were all there last week. I didn't see what,
It's up to the rest of the commission how they feel. I just, if
what
there's
this.
concerns from the
lady
neighbors,
was-
so
I know,
either.
but I didn't, what I saw wasn't representative of what this lady was discussing. It's more representative of what,
This work had been
Mr.
done since the
Mandela.
field walk, Mr. Tupans.
what's that?
This work has been done since the field walk.
Okay, so it has changed.
Oh, it has?
Right.
It's almost 2 weeks ago you went on
We
the
gotta
walk.
give, we gotta be fair.
It wasn't
to the
last
public.
Saturday, it was 2
Oh,
Saturdays.
yeah, no,
All right, we're coming back out. That's my opinion. What's the commission feel?
is that the case?
Well, the millings were done, we probably spread another
Was it after we were there?
100 feet.
Oh, okay.
In the area that was already cut
I
out. You
thought
guys
she
already
was
seen
talking
where it was
about
cut
some
out.
existing conditions.
We're gonna come back out and then leave this hearing open, so we can get some more answers and get it straightened out.
All right, in
Sounds
order to get to that river, you got to cut through my property, so, and there are no dead end, no trespassing signs, there are 2 yellow triangle signs at the end of the road.
I'll show you.
Right, this, everybody remember, this is wetland, so when it's trespassing and signs in the roads,
We understand that.
we listen more than we should. It's a wetland, we're here for the
It's a
wetlands.
right-of-way for the sewer department to check their lines.
Right, that's why we're gonna leave it open, we're gonna come back out.
I'll make a motion, we schedule another site walk just to address the issues the public has brought before us for this meeting tonight.
Do you want to do it the Saturday before the next meeting?
Yes.
Roseanne, do you know the date? Sorry.
On the 8th?
October 13th is the next wetland.
And the 8th is a Saturday? Okay, it will be October 8th.
Motion made and seconded, correct? All in favor?
Aye.
Can we have a question on the motion first?
Yes.
So am I to be clear that we're going out to inspect some work that was proposed, that it's outside of the 100-foot buffer?
Yes, that's what they're saying.
Just-
No, none of it's within 100 feet. Not a single thing is within 100 feet.
Yeah, it was my understanding,
Just the planting the grass, which obviously.
it's just my understanding that it's work outside of the buffer. I just wanted to clarify that for the record, that's all.
If you look at this map that Mr. Mandela submitted, this green area, you can see that Knowlton Street goes to that orange line, and behind the orange line is the regulated area
Right.
that this new road is.
So if you came off the end
It's my understanding that he exited Knowlton Street onto his property and then headed up outside of the 100-foot buffer area.
But has to go through the green area in order to.
No, that's not true. He had enough room to go up this way, from what I recall seeing there. And from what both of these drawings show, he clearly has room off of the end of Knowlton Street to get into his property without trespassing into that zone. It was flagged. You had the stakes in.
Yeah, the 100-foot
Did
stakes
you
were in.
go on the other side of the stakes?
On the
Did you
east
go
side.
in the 100-foot buffer?
No.
Please, sir.
What stake was taken out, put back?
Right.
I mean,
Call for the question on the motion.
Mr. McNulty.
The motion,
Yes.
move the question. It's been motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any
Abstain.
abstentions?
so what are we doing? Doing
We'll
another
come-
walkthrough?
Yes,
Okay.
and make a motion then to keep that application open.
Make a motion, we table application 2022-20.
Second. Motion made and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Just
All
for the
opposed?
neighbor, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry.
Yes.
There will be a public, a site walk on Saturday, the 8th, at 9 a.m. in the morning. It is a public meeting. If you want to join the commission, you are welcome to come. Yes.
we have a second on that motion for the table? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. A new application, application 2022-17 of Steiner Incorporated for subdivision of a 6.15 acre parcel of land of the 4 residential building lots and construction of 4 single-family homes and associated on-site septic drainage driveways located at the intersection of Lake Winnemog and Sperry Road.
Less than. 43,560.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Mr. Raffi, and professional staff. For the record, my name is Chris Smith. I'm a land use attorney with the law firm of Walter & Pearson, and I appear before you this evening on behalf of Steiner, Inc. Steiner, Inc. is the owner applicant concerning the application that's before you this evening. I would like to introduce the members of the team, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. On behalf of Steiner, Inc., we have both Greg and Chris Steiner with us this evening. Our civil engineer is Doug DeVista and of DeVista Civil Engineering, and we'll be hearing from Doug shortly. And then our wetlands consultant is Jim McManus of JMM Wetland Consulting Services, Inc. As far as the subject application involves a request for approval of regulated activities associated with a 4-lot residential subdivision of real property comprising approximately 6.15 acres. The subject property is located at the southeasterly corner of Lake Winnemog Road and Sperry Road, and Mr. DeVesta will walk you through the site development proposal in a moment. What I would like to do as far as our format, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission, is I'll provide a summary of the application. Then we'll hear from, again, Mr. DeVesta, who will walk through the civil components of the application. And then finally, we'll hear from Mr. McManus, our wetlands consultant, who will review the wetland resources. There's 2 wetlands located on the property, and provide you with a summary of his assessment that has been submitted as part of the application. The application includes the construction of the proposed residential homes in the 4 lots and associated on-site septic systems and drainage measures. The property has historically been utilized, I'm sure you're all well aware, for agricultural purposes over the years. There are 2 wetlands located on the subject property. There's one on the easterly side of the property and then one more towards the south central. And again, we'll hear from Mr. McManus in particular concerning those 2 wetlands, their attributes, and then the potential impacts relative to the proposal. As far as the activities, there is no conduct that's proposed in either of the 2 wetlands. Everything will be in the upland review area. There's no direct wetland impacts. And more importantly, as you will hear from Mr. DeVesta and Mr. McManus, the proposed regulated activities will have less impacts than the historic agricultural use of the property. They will not result in an adverse impact to the wetlands, and the regulated activities respectfully submit, satisfy, and are consistent with the statutory factors for consideration as provided by Section 22841 of the Connecticut General Statutes and the criteria set forth in your regulations. And then finally, you'll hear how we respectfully submit that the activities associated with the proposed development, especially when considered relative to the historic agricultural use of the property, we respectfully submit do not result in a significant activity. So with the permission of the chair, what I'd like to do is turn the presentation over to Mr. DeVesta, who once again is our professional civil engineer. Thank you. So you want to sit here?
Sure. Thank you, Chris. Good evening. My name is Doug DeVesta, professional engineer. I represent the applicant. Before you tonight, as Chris mentioned, that we've got a 6.1 acre parcel looking to subdivide it into 4 single-family residents. One will come off Sperry, which is on the westerly side, and then 3 will come off of Lake Winnemog Road. In terms of the site itself, it drains from Sperry Road in a westerly to easterly direction towards the two wetlands areas. And then on the south side, southwest side of this parcel, it also slopes in a more of a northerly direction. The parcel is vacantly, as we said, it was an agricultural property. We looked at the terms of drainage. We looked at that as an undeveloped piece of property, as a fallow property, meaning having no vegetation on it, just more like agricultural. We did a pre-development calculation, looked at it for a 25-year storm per your regulations, and we determined that there's approximately 33 cubic feet per second runoff coming from a property. And for a post-development, we looking at each individual houses having their own detention systems, looking at the driveways, all the impervious areas, and we came up with a detention system for each of the lots that will handle the increase in runoff from each of the individual lots. We also looked at the water quality volume, which is based on DEP regulations, the 2004 regulations for the water quality manual. And anything below the invert outlet of the outlet devices will be the water quality volume. So we're handling the first inch of runoff from the associated impervious areas that going into the detention systems. So that would be roof runoff and driveways and the walks and the patios that go into that area. Anything above that is our detention system that handle the 25-year design storm and will flow out. And then basically, then we took all those things, added them together, and we came up with a reduction of runoff from the site itself. So we're down to like 18 cubic feet per second leaving the site there. So we have a reduction in runoff. So basically what we're saying is that there's no impacts to the adjacent residents' properties and or the town land and property and roadway. In terms of septic systems, all 4 lots be on septic system and individual wells. We show the wells on the property and septic systems. We have feasibility septic areas for all 4 lots, primary and reserve area that meets the current local and state health codes. Is before Torrington Area Health right now for review. I have not heard back from them yet as terms of they've approved the feasibility of these lots. Based on my design work that meets the MLSS requirement, the minimally systems requirements, and as well as designed for 4-bedroom houses. As we mentioned, the lots will be served by individual wells. On the plan here, you'll see the red line. That's the 100-foot upland review area for the 2 pockets of wetlands. I believe that's going to basically it for what I've got. And we'll have Jim go through more of the wetlands issues and stuff like that. So if there's any questions at this time, I'll have to answer them. We'll wait till the end.
We'll wait till the end.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jim McManus. I'm a certified professional soil scientist with JMM Wetland Consulting Services, and we have offices in Newtown. I first visited the property in January of 2021 to actually delineate the 2 wetlands that you've seen, that you see there on the map. And then I revisited the site the end of July of this year just to see the site again because I hadn't been there in a while, and also there was a question about, are you sure that those 2 wetlands don't connect, or are they actually separated? So I have a photo, and I'll go through that in a minute, what I determined. As was already sort of mentioned, my numbered series, what I call my numbered series, was the wetland to the north, and then the isolated wetland is the A series, which is the wetland to the south. The numbered series is, as you near the eastern property line, is more of a shrub swamp with a wet meadow component, and then the remainder of it, which is the majority, is actually tilled. And then the A wetland, the one to the south, is essentially all tilled during my delineation, with the exception of the very southern part, which is kind of not been, it's sort of more of a weedy area, and then you have the trees that buffer the field from the neighbors to the south. I did do a functionality assessment of the 2 wetlands, and I found that they pretty much have 3 principal functions, which are groundwater recharge and discharge, and then they're sort of sediment and retention and nutrient removal. They act like sinks. They take nutrient runoff from the property and they sort of utilize them. They're gathered up by the soils, for instance, like phosphorus, or the plants, in this case mainly corn, would suck up any additional nutrients that are trapped in the wetlands. Wetlands are typically, you can think of a wetland as the liver and kidneys of the earth. There's sinks, there's filters. They clean up the things that come off from the uplands before they leave discharge to the rivers, swamps, lakes, and then eventually to the ocean, cleans it up to background level, if you will. So the main reason that those wetlands have higher amount of principal functions is mainly due to disturbed nature of the wetlands, which has been in agriculture for, I'm going to guess, over 100 years. And it's low diversity of vegetated cover and plant species, which would lower the functionality. We also looked at direct impacts, which we have none, and also indirect impacts, which really relate to the construction, relate to erosion and sediment control during construction, and then water quality and habitat value after proposed development. So we look at various things, and the first thing we looked at, of course, was the erosion and sedimentation. Of course, erosion and sedimentation into a wetlands could be considered an impact. So we look at those things, and we assess, are we going to have an impact with the proposal? And the answer was no, mainly due to the fact that we have a robust erosion and sediment control plan proposed. And also, the majority of the development is on gentler slopes within the agricultural field. And we're not anticipating any significant runoff. And with that, with that statement and with the robust erosion and soil sedimentation controls, that we feel that won't be an impact. The other thing we looked at is removal of native vegetation and habitat loss. Well, since the overwhelming majority of the, if not the entire development is within an agricultural field with no trees to be removed, so therefore we're not going to have an impact of that nature. In potential impacts to water hydrology and stream flow. Again, the plan shows how we've captured all of the runoff and it has been treated, and we know not anticipating and then released back into the environment, which includes the wetlands, so there would be no impact to the wetland hydrology. And of course, the final thing we look at is potential water quality impacts. And again, Doug has gone through it with the BMPs, the best management practices. Again, we're not anticipating any impacts to the water quality due to that. However, the project team got together, even though we do not have any direct impacts proposed, we are proposing a mitigation enhancement plan to the wetlands. And that's going to be, essentially, we're going to install a split rail fence around the majority of each of the wetlands, adjacent to any proposed development. And I propose that we till or plow again the wetland soils that are in corn or in agricultural use today to get rid of nuisance weeds, to prepare the soil better so when we plant the proposed wetland seed mix, which is at the end of your letter, my report, I should say, it is a wetland seed mix put out by New England Wetland Plants, that will be able to reestablish itself without having to compete with lots of agricultural weeds and other plants. We also indicate that that the wetland mitigation or enhancement areas will be mowed twice a year to help with reduce the amount of, because the goal is to turn it into a wet meadow. You folks in this town know that a lot of our wet meadows are disappearing due to agricultural land going back to forest or shrub swamps, and so I'm just trying to bring back a wet meadow here, which is essentially now. The only shrubs area is kind of along the eastern property boundary in my numbered series wetland. The rest of it I would consider a wet meadow. And then finally, post-implementation, I'm going to go out and visit the site when it's been implemented, make sure it was done correctly, and then I propose post-implementation that I monitor the wetland plantings for 2 years to assure that we have success. So in conclusion, with diligent monitoring of the erosion controls during the construction phase, we don't feel, the project team in general does not feel that we'll have a significant adverse short-term during construction or long-term impacts upon the regular resources from the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. One, for the record, Chris Smith, just would like to point out when Mr. McManus is making reference to the lower wetlands, for example, being tilled historically, and then a large portion of the one up in the northeast corner, I just would respectfully refer you to the aerial that's in his report, and it actually shows the cornfield, the field as it exists and has been tilled over the years. And so, you know, that wetland down in the southerly portion there has just been basically part of the agricultural use and hasn't been treated as a wetland. The proposed subdivision itself it meets all the guidelines, the 2002 DEP stormwater guidelines and also the 2004 DEP stormwater manual guidelines. It's consistent with both of those. And as you heard from Mr. McManus, what we are proposing is restoring basically the wetlands with having them maintained and enhanced. Otherwise, again, they've just, especially the one in the bottom center there, has just been part of the field that's been utilized for agricultural use over the years. So it's almost, I'm going to say this, but and I do a lot of wetlands applications, and I served on a commission for 16 years. I'm going to say it's almost like it's not creating new wetlands, but it is kind of bringing back what are wetland soils type areas into, you know, more meaningful wetlands than they have been today. So I know my clients and the Steiners really felt that it was important to do that. By having the fence split rail, it would demarcate so that any of the owners of the property, you know, would know that it's there. Anybody inspecting, if they wanted to, could drive by and they would see clearly the fencing there to demarcate it again. So, you know, great effort has been made to try to restore some of the wetlands from the agricultural farm use, and we do think it's, as Mr. McManus indicates in his report and to you this evening, this certainly has less impacts than the wetlands, than the impacts that are occurring today to the wetlands with the agricultural use, and certainly the activities are not going to result in an adverse impact to wetlands. Which is your charge, as well as confirming that the proposal satisfies your criteria and your regulations. So we would respectfully submit again. It doesn't create an adverse impact, and relative to this portion of the process, that it doesn't involve a significant activity. And we thank you for the opportunity to be before you this evening and to respond to any questions that you have.
Right. Any questions from the commission? We're gonna come out and do a site walk anyways for next meeting, before the next meeting. Paul, have you had a chance to review this at all?
I started to, Mr. Chairman. I have one question for Mr. McManus and one for Mr. Divesta, but although neither one is a surveyor, which was my first question on the Lot 4, which has probably mostly impacted by the wetland location. There are two flags, 3 and 6. And 4 and 5 are missing. Is there a reason why those weren't located? And if that straight line is correct, or, like I said, Lot 4 has the least buildable area based on wetland impact. If those flags are closer to the house, I think we'd like to know it, you know. There's a line just connecting 3 and 6, at least on both the subdivision and the site development.
Yeah. We can look into that, certainly, Mr. Chairman.
I don't know what the surveyor missed them, or, you know, it's just a small, yeah.
It's possible.
And for Mr. DeVesta, as he said, this site's been farmed for maybe 100 or more years, and I know what happens to the soil being churned up. And I know for the septic design, you had a lot of holes that didn't make the 18-inch to modeling. And the only, in your infiltrator system areas, there's only one edge of Lot 1, where there's a test pit right where the infiltrator systems are. I would like, and this is something we've done, not just me, but my predecessor, Mr. Berger in town, if you've got an infiltrator system, you need some kind of perk and test pit results in the actual area of the infiltrator. Now, you don't need to get a backhoe out there again. A postal or clamshell digger just down, 30 to modeling, and then run a quick perk with that, just to see if it meets, and I would like, you don't need the 18 inches above modeling with the system, but I'd like at least 12 above if you found encountered modeling in any one of those infiltrator areas. So, just something to do before next week.
Are you talking about number 1, Paul?
Number 1, there's a test pit, 1-6 right on the corner. That's got modeling at 19 inches, which is, not the greatest. But the other 3 lots, I don't see any test pits anywhere within 25 or 50 feet, especially Lot 4, where you've got the infiltrator within 20 feet of the wetland demarcation line, at least one corner of it, so.
Well, we've got test hole 4-3 there, that had modeling at, what did I say, it was at 18.
Did I miss something? Let's see.
Yeah, it's in front of the house there.
Yes, that's like still a way. I want something right in where your infiltrators, like I said, if it's just with a postal digger, that's fine. Okay. Just by yourself or whomever, so. And if I think you based your infiltration calcs on, it looks like 1.7 inches per hour or something, as far as infiltration from the system.
I think so.
If you get a faster perk, you can adjust your
Correct.
sizing accordingly. So that may help you actually. So. But that's something, we require that in town. If you've got an infiltrator system, no matter if it's on someone's front yard or a subdivision proposed like this, you want an actual, know what the modeling and what the soil profile is where the infiltrators are going. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman, to this point.
Thank you. Any questions?
Just one question. Did you think of any open space, what you want to do with the open space requirement of the subdivision regulations?
We can look into that.
Okay.
Mr. Rappine. We have that area where the wetlands are. And, but we can look into that.
On lot 4, the septic area is in the corner. I think sometimes the commission asks for a conservation easement over the wetland areas. And then we can recommend to the Planning and Zoning Commission to accept that as an open space for the subdivision. But if that is not the case, then that's something that you deal with the Planning and Zoning Commission. But at least think about it, that what is your plan for open space?
We can certainly look into that. And as you know, we do have a hearing with Planning and Zoning on October 5th, before your next meeting.
And also on lot 4, because the houses and most of the activities around the house is close to the wetlands, are you planning any kind of like a barrier for that section of the wetlands that kind of like a
rail fence?
What kind of fence?
Split rail fence would go there, Chris
Okay.
Smith, for the record.
Just for the front part of it, can you put like a 2-foot high stone wall that?
Right, typically we ask for walls when we start getting close to the.
Because where that the house is and that is very close to, not the entire length, only in that front section, that the future homeowner knows that that is their limit, because fence can be moved and.
We can certainly discuss that with you before the, Mr. Rappin.
Even if it's a dry stone wall, doesn't matter. It has to be masonry, but something that they know that this is a permanent barrier.
Yeah. We can do that. We can work with you on that.
Thank you.
My question is, lot 4 is basically entirely in the upland review area. Half of lot 3 is, you stated that you're very concerned about the wetlands and improving them and making them better. Wouldn't it be better if there was 2 or 3 lots instead of 4? I mean, some of these lots have a ridiculous shape, and we know from the past that that house in lot 4 is going to want lawn around it. It's 20 feet from the wetlands. The fence is going to go away, the wall will get moved, and there'll be lawn there. We don't have, as Musa said, we don't have any open space given yet. I see it being a, alternative to lessen the amount of lots that we have here.
Well, just for the record, I didn't say that the wetlands were destroyed, and we're trying to...
Say that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, the wetlands have been in agricultural use for many, many years, decades. And it's, to this day, it's still being plowed. I don't know about this year, I think it's foul this year, but however, when I flagged the wetlands, the corn had just come down. Anyways, the point being is, we were going to take it out of being constantly tilled and then just turn it back into a wet meadow. That's a lot different than saying, let's get rid of a house lot because we think that will improve the wetlands. The wetlands have been impacted for over 100 years.
That's with a farm, that's different.
No, it is not different. You're still getting, and the wetlands were used as a medium for growth of crops. And these particular wetlands are used to sedimentation, dumping into them, additional whatever's on that field, dumping into them. So we're sort of, in this proposal, we're eliminating a lot of that and separating whether they move the stone wall or not is outside of we're proposing how we're going to protect the wetlands and what sort of plants I think will improve the wetland than it is currently, which is in agricultural use.
Right, the problem is after that, we have no way of policing it.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. If somebody moves the wall and sticks a shed in the wetlands, they've just violated your regulations. And your town staff will bring that to your attention.
Well, I think to Commissioner Dalton's point, and as Mr. McManus was indicating, if these were existing high-quality wetlands and this was being proposed, I could understand the comment that in your comments and your concerns. I think the fact that they've historically been used as a cornfield for them, and even most of the wetland up in the northeast corner, the goal here is to actually try to revigorate whatever the appropriate word might be to enhance what's there today so that they become a higher quality wetlands than just
better
being
functioning
used
wetland
for...
than is today.
I just call them higher quality, but, I'm sorry?
That you stated that you were concerned about making them better. And wouldn't it make them even better if there was more space and buffer to them?
Yeah, I understand. I didn't catch the concern.
Right.
I don't know if we're concerned. I was just more of saying, we have an opportunity here to take two wetland areas that have been in constant agricultural use for a long time, and we can take them out of agricultural use and improve them by planting them. I wasn't actually concerned. It was more of an opportunity to do something that improve a wetland that really is only a wetland, except for, like I said, the only wetland, quote, wetland, that looks like a wetland is the one that's adjacent to the eastern property line. Everything else is a wetland by statute, meaning I went out and dug an auger and found poorly drained soils. Other than that, you would never know it was a wetland.
Thank you. Yeah, I also have some concerns about Lot 4 there, and we've talked more about them at the site walk, but do you guys have any interest in revising it to a 3-lot subdivision?
Well, I think at this juncture, the regulated activities associated with the development don't result in an adverse impact to a wetland. And, I mean, when you're looking at feasible and prudent alternatives, this is something that I deal with quite a bit throughout the state. I know we have, working together over time. And, you know, a feasible and prudent alternative, if you're having some sort of an adverse impact on a wetland, then I respectfully submit that's when you're looking at adverse impacts. But, you know, relative to, I mean, if you think about it, if somebody would like to do something with their property, such as yourself, and you have some regulated activities that are involved, and if you design it, whatever you want to do, whether it's adding a garage or a shed or a pool, and if that's not going to have an adverse effect on the wetland, then why would you, if you came to me and I'm on the Wetlands Commission, how would you react if I said, well, I think you should reduce your pool in half or maybe eliminate it, and instead of having an in-ground, have an above ground and move it over here when you're sitting there saying, or standing, you typically, I'm not used to sitting all the time, but saying that there's no adverse impact. So something we can think about with the client, but I'm just saying, I just wanted to point out today, when we come back, we'll revisit this, but that, in my opinion, I would just respectfully submit that if there's no adverse impact being caused, and actually this proposal that we're looking at in light of the fact that it's been a cornfield.
You do have to address the open space issue.
I'm sorry?
You have to address the open space.
We'll look into that. We'll look into that. And there's plenty of area to the south in both of those lots, but we'll look into that.
Right.
But we understand what both
This is a new application.
Commissioner
so
Cabello and Mr.
We'll be out for a site
Phil
walk.
are saying.
All the wetlands are flagged, correct? All the flags are in there?
Where?
Except those two we spoke of, Mr.
We're going to make sure that they're there.
And it's mowed, you can see the flags, correct?
You will see them.
Anything else relative to your site walk that you'd like to see? It's the wetlands flag?
I'd like to see the wetland flag in the corners of this house in Lot 4.
Okay.
State.
In the-
And the septic system state.
For lot 4?
Yes.
Commissioner? Okay. Lot 4, septic and the,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a
single-family
motion
house.
to
Just one more recommendation. On the map, can you please show for each lot that the limit of disturbance for each development of the houses? That what will be the limit of disturbance? It's
like the line of disturbance?
Yes.
Limited? Okay.
Right now it's, need the wayside weeds.
Okay. So tell them that.
Yeah, I'm Greg Steiner. I just want to, we had.
Just state your name and address.
I'm sorry, Greg Steiner, Brookfield, Connecticut. One of the owners, my cousin Chris. Just because we were in front of the application, we did not engage the farmer to plant this year. So we kind of let the field turn fallow. This is a little bit later than we thought we'd be in front of the commission. So nothing has been cut out there. So when you walk, there's weeds and stuff like that. So if we're gonna have a sidewalk, I think we're suggesting that maybe we should just brush hog the area so we can walk it better, so that you can
We
still
gotta see the
flags.
flag.
Of course, but I just wanna make sure everybody realizes that we're gonna brush hog, because right now, if you drive by tomorrow, it's unkempt.
only lot 4. You don't have to do the entire field. I mean,
Where the wetlands are.
We'd probably just do the whole
So-
thing, if that's.
Right, that's
No
fine.
need to disturb it, just the area that we need to see.
So lot 3 and 4.
3 and
Okay.
4.
basically 3 and 4. I mean, not the entire.
It'll just be activity in the upland.
Yeah, just want to, yeah, I just don't wanna get in trouble for,
No.
yeah.
You'll be in trouble, neighbor will call anyways. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
And you will
That-
show the
that-
limit of disturbance on the map for each
And do you
lot.
want us to, do you want us to brush hog the area inside the wetlands also?
Just so we, no, just where you can see the flag.
No.
Just the boundary.
Okay.
So you just
Okay.
make like a corn maze in there. There's
okay.
no corn,
No, I
right?
just want to be upfront so that we don't,
Just want to make sure we do, you don't show up and it's like.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you do that? That's all, okay. I'd like to make a motion to table application 2022-17 and schedule a public
Site walk.
field trip.
Second on the motion? Second. Motion made and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstention? Motion
Okay,
carries.
the first the site walk that we have is on Saturday the 8th. It will be 9 o'clock. Probably yours will be 9:30, 9:45. I will send an agenda for you.
So that would be the 8th before the meeting, right?
The-
We're talking
the
at
Saturday
12:30.
before the next meeting, yes.
Just losing track of time.
Who do you want, who would you like there? Who do you have at the sidewalk usually?
Somebody explain it.
I mean, the soil scientist should be there in case if there is any question.
Do you need it? Okay.
And you will stake out the location of the foundation for lot 4.
Okay.
And septic.
It's up to the
Owners.
applicant.
Well, we're going to be back in front of you on the 13th, I think, one way or
Yes.
the other. So we'll bring the team again for that. Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
and,
Thank you. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
2, application 2022-23 of the Town of Watertown of Department of Public Works removing sediment from Steel Brook near the intersection of Main and Riverside. Paul, sit down, it's all right. We're gonna, this permit has always been there, correct? You're just renewing the permit?
Right, Mr. Chairman, it's permit number 800, originally issued in 2011, renewed in 2016. It expired October 21. And Musa said that we missed the renewal, but yeah, we're just trying to reapply for this expired permit that we've had before because, we need to get into the brook.
Right.
As there's, all the storms we had last year and just the time interval since the last cleaning, we need to get in there and get some.
Is this something you think they're gonna do now?
I don't know, considering the shortage we have in highway, it may not get done next couple of weeks, but it's something we've got to do in the near,
And
next.
that permit's good for what, 10 years? 5?
It is good for 5 years, then they can ask for another 5 years extension. That will be good for 10 years.
Make a motion to approve application 2022.
To table, you cannot make a, you just accepted the application
Oh,
tonight.
I
Yes.
thought they were gonna start digging.
At the next meeting,
No.
you can approve it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, you're not going to delay us and, not going to delay.
Is that something that you needed right away?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay, I thought you.
No, I said, no, it's not going to happen
All
within
right.
the next month.
So what do we do, table it?
It will be okay for next
Make
month.
sure-
Right, yeah, exactly.
Table application 2022-23.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Old business, notice of violation issued to owner 30 Jericho Road, Watertown, and discussion of application review process at the agency.
No new information, Mr. Chairman.
New business, none. Inlands, wetlands, watercourse activity report too deep for 2019. Accept and file, right?
Second.
That is just for your information, and you can make a motion to accept and file.
Make a motion to accept and file old business items 1 and 2.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Reports from officers and committees, chairman's report. A, chairman's letter to Mark McSowell, Land Use Administrator. There was a copy of the letter there that was written to see if we can get a update. At this point, I haven't heard no response.
Okay. I'd just like to say, it's very disappointing when our administrator gives us misinformation 90% of the time, and then our town attorney drags for months and months and months. Is there any way we can get a third-party attorney to review it? I don't understand why it takes so long to do this.
That's up to the town of Watertown. We cannot hire an attorney to review the regulations.
Check into that, Roseanne.
We don't have the budget.
I make a motion, next one.
Next one.
Report from Wetland Regulations Review Subcommittee. I refer back to item 1A, Chairman's letter. We don't know anything that's going on in Commissioner Ned Dalton's comments, incorporated in all that. It's going on a year.
Yeah.
Accept and file. I make a motion to accept and file reports under 1 and 2.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Reports from staff, aid and determination. Application 2022-22, Pools by Design Incorporated for installation of an in-ground pool within the upland review area, 305 Whispering Hill Road, Watertown.
So when I approved that application, and the swimming pool is approximately 70 feet from the edge of a small wetland on this property, and I didn't see a reason to put it on the agenda for you. I approve.
Anybody from the public wishing to speak? No.
Motion to adjourn.
8:10.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Recording stopped.